So the folks over at Egretech got in touch with me about reviewing this little 300 watt, this Plume 300. It's a 300 watt power station. It's got an AC port. It's got two USB ports, two USB-C ports. One of them is in and out, which is really cool. I'll go over in a second. It's got the power port, and you can also plug in something else here if you've got the 5511 size port. So what interested me about this was the slim design and the functionality that something like this offers rather than something like the Bluetti that I purchased, to just compare these. And not necessarily compare in the sense of what's better, which one is better, but compare them as far as size and functionality. Where I can take this, there are places and things I can take this that I can't actually take this, or it would be easier to take this rather than to take a larger power station that is blocky rather than this slim design right here. Another thing that interested me about this, because of its slim design, is it's something I can just set on the coffee table, and it doesn't, it's not taking up a lot of room, and it doesn't look like you've got this big giant, ugly power station sitting on your table. So I did like that as well. So as far as this little unit right here, and I did some testing that I'll go through here in a minute, but it's got one AC port on the side, and the way you do this is just click this button down here and the AC is active. It's got two USB ports over here. It's got a USB-C, which is in and out, which can go up to 100 watts. And this is really cool because you can actually charge with this as well. And it's got another USB slot down here, which is 20 watts, where you can send this out and charge something else. The power adapter goes on here, and a DC out, like I said. So pretty cool, simple little unit. One port this is 300 watts, so you could put a splitter on here if you wanted, and get a couple of ports on there. It also has the light on the back here, which puts off a decent amount of light. It's got a few different modes, and then the flashing, and then the fast flashing, 3 different flashing modes. And then you just long press it to turn it back off. When you get this little pack right here, it comes really well packed, and it comes with this kit right here, which is the power cables. It's got a longer strap. It's got this strap that you put on it in the beginning, and it's got the power adapter. Now with this power adapter, I'll go through with a couple different ways to charge this. With this power adapter, it's nice, but I really am not a fan of these big blocky power adapters. And this is why I have the Bluetti down here, because I'll plug this in and just show you the wattage that you'll get from this power adapter. So if we were to plug this into the Bluetti and plug this in here to charge this little unit right here, give this a second to ramp up. And as you can see, this goes to about 60 watts, just 50 to 60 watts with this adapter right here. Another reason that I like this little unit right here is because instead of charging this way with the power adapter, you can take a Type-C cable, and this is a 60 watt cable. This output right here will go up to 100 watts, but this cord I have right here is only 60 watts. So that's what it's going to output. But you can plug that in right there and charge this with a USB-C cable. You could even take this end right here and put a wall outlet on it, the little adapter, and plug it into the wall as well. Like I said, make sure you have a 100 watt cable. But you can see this one is charging at 58 watts as well. So if you have a 100 watt cable, you'll get a faster charge time. Plus, these are just far more convenient. The other option that I have as well, and the one that I'm going to be using, is the power station setup that I have. I have a solar panel outside which leads inside, and I have adapters for all my different power stations. So what I can do is I can unplug the solar from my DIY power station and put an adapter on for the different other power stations that I have. I've got one for the OPEZ, one which is the same one as the Bluetti, and then I can take that off and put the smaller one on the 5511, and I can charge this little Egretech straight from solar outside. And what this does, it just makes it really convenient as far as keeping all of these topped off. So before we get into some of the tests that I did and the functionality, they also sent me some of their solar panels, which I tested as well. And they're a pretty cool design. The solar panels themselves, I am not an expert on the different types of solar panels and what's better and what's not. But the case that the way these are constructed is super high quality. The solar panels look really nice. And I decided to take them out and test them a little bit to see what sort of wattage I would get from them. Now, it was interesting because when I plugged the solar panels into the Egretech, I was only getting about 30 watts. I couldn't get any more with that. And I even set it up with my OPEZ solar panels to test both of the solar panels. They're both 100-watt solar panels. And on the OPEZ panels, I was getting about 75 watts. And then on these, I just couldn't, the max I got was about 48 watts. And I was wondering, is it the solar panels or is it the Egretech? So I took the solar panels and I plugged them into my DIY setup. And then I plugged the OPEZ into it inside to see what it was generating. And it was generating about 70 or 80 watts. So it's not the solar panels. For some reason, though, I couldn't get the Egretech to charge over that 48 watts. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe it was just that time. I'll have to test them again. But the solar panels do work really well, and they are a quality design. A 100-watt solar panel with this little thing, if you're getting 70, 80 watts, you're looking at 3 or 4 hours to charge this, which is pretty good. If you are getting that 30 or 40 watts, though, you're looking at something that's, probably all day, but it will charge in one day. So the solar option is really nice. If you have a solar panel at home, or you've got the foldable ones, or they sell them as well on their website and Amazon. So back to this unit, what I did, I wanted to test this out and see how it did. And I've got a couple of different load testers. First, I wanted to drain this from 100% to 0, and I tested this on my laptop, which runs at about 25 watts, which is pretty low. And when you're using the AC, there's going to be a lot of loss because there is a small inverter inside here that you need to use that converts that DC energy into AC. So that's going to take up some energy as well. So with this, I got about 170 watts out of this battery right here, running my laptop, which again takes about 25, 30 watts. Sometimes it kicks up, but that's about the average. So that's quite a bit of loss when you're running at low wattage. If you were to run something at higher wattage, there would be less loss because you're using that energy more quickly. But that is to be expected with any power station you're talking about, not just this one. And I wanted to see if I could get this close to max power. And I've got this little blue space heater right here that I plugged into it. And as you'll see here, this little space heater, once I turn this on, you'll see the wattage go up to close to 500, and then it'll start to dip down. So this little heater cranks up. See, it already cut out. And it gives you an E6 error. So it's not able to handle the 500 watts. I'll show you what this does on this one right here, because this is a 600 watt station. So you can see here, it goes up to around 500 watts, and then it starts to dip down. It goes down to about 300, and then it goes back up to about 350. So this isn't able to handle that 330, 340 range of this little heater. But I did have it on the Bluetti charging, or the Bluetti charging this, and that was about 315 watts, and it worked just fine. So if I plug the Bluetti in right here, turn on the AC, so you can see this is going up above 300, and it's around 310, and it's doing just fine. No errors or anything like that. So around the 300 mark is you're pretty good, and even a little bit over. I think probably somewhere in the range of 315, 320. That's when the safety feature kicks in and it will cut off the power. But it does output the power that it states it does. Next, I wanted to test the actual battery capacity of this unit and see how much it actually held. And I tried two different methods, two different watt meters. I charged it completely using this USB-C port, and it gave me pretty close to 300 watt hours, which was more than I was expecting. I was thinking maybe that little meter is wrong. So I also did it with the AC port with the other watt meter that I have, and it said pretty close to the same thing. So, I'm not sure if it's just this unit or what it is, but it's definitely higher than the 265 that they state on the website. But it seems like it's closer to 300 watt hours in this little thing. So that was a surprise and pretty cool to me. So I've used this, a bunch of times over the last couple of weeks and have had nothing go wrong with it whatsoever, other than if you try to put too many watts through it, it's going to kick on that safety feature and shut it down. What I really like about this is just this slim, compact design, like I said earlier. In my truck, you can put this underneath your seat, keep it out of the way. I've got quite a bit of stuff in my truck anyway. I've got a tire inflator jump starter in my car, and maybe you have one of those as well. And is when you keep those things in your car for long periods of time, the energy runs out. And something like this would be great to just charge those. Say you get a flat tire or you need to jump your car, and that little jump starter has been in your car for a year and doesn't have quite enough energy. You can take this, plug it into that, and recharge anything that you keep in your vehicle. It's also great for camping, and this slim design makes it much better for camping. You can put it on a bug out bag or a backpack if you are going hiking. Something like this is going to be a lot easier and a lot better to carry than, like even just this Bluetti right here, which isn't huge, but for the same capacity and the same type of system, this is much smaller than the Bluetti. It's probably a third of the size, but they weigh about the same. But you could put that on a backpack. You could just carry it with you. It's much more portable. So I really do like this design quite a bit. And I tested this with everything from my iPad to my laptop. You can actually use it to charge batteries. If you have something like I have here, which is the XTAR battery charger, you could actually take this battery charger, plug it into this USB, and if you've got like the Eneloop batteries, the AA's and AAA's, you could actually recharge these batteries. So basically you're transferring the energy from one unit to the next, but you could recharge any batteries, any rechargeable batteries you have around the house too. So there are just a lot of things you can do with this. You're not going to run a refrigerator. You're not going to be able to power those large appliances. But for all of the smaller things that maybe you just need to be able to recharge, those situations where disaster happens, the power goes out, and you forgot to charge certain things. Something like this is going to give you that ability to put a little bit more charge on your cell phones, on your laptop. You can run a laptop for close to 20 hours, depending on the type and the brand. So if you just need a little bit of entertainment, if you need to power on a modem, there are a lot of different things that you can do with something this size. And again, I really like the portability and the sleek design. You can set it on the kitchen table. You can set it on the coffee table. Put it in your vehicle, stick it under the seat, put it in the trunk. It's just a really compact, slim design, and I really do like it quite a bit. So with that, that's it for today. Like I said, I really do like this unit. I know there are a couple other designs out there that are sort of this slim type model, but I really do. I love the Bluettis too, don't get me wrong, but I do like the fact that this is much more sleek, much smaller, and is going to be useful in a whole lot of situations where I wouldn't maybe want to take the Bluetti or a larger power station. This would be much easier to just grab and go. So if you have any comments, any questions, anything I didn't get to in this video, make sure and leave them below. If you like this video, make sure and hit the subscribe button. But with that, take care and prepare, everyone. We will talk to you all later.